Hi, my name is Anya. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. Today we are talking about a sugar baby, sugar daddy type of situation with a tragic ending. And I have a little bonus clip for you at the end, so please keep watching. Okay, let's go. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. A fool and his money are soon departed. And this is where our story begins. On Monday, March 4 of 2019, 71-year-old Thomas Buchard was reported missing by his girlfriend of 17 years, Judy, 59. The couple lived in Monterey, California. According to Judy, Dr. Thomas had left to Las Vegas on Friday, March 1 to help out a friend, a young woman called Kelsey Turner. Judy had no idea he was going to Vegas and he notified her when he was already there. Judy told him to come home. She had a feeling that something bad would happen to him. The history between her and Kelsey wasn't the best. Dr. Thomas told Judy he would stay over the weekend and be back home on Monday, March 4. But when time came to take his flight, he was gone. And that's when Judy called the Las Vegas police 3 times. But him being an adult, there wasn't much they could do. Okay, before we continue, I just want to say a couple of things. Sir, why do you have this as a friend in Vegas? And why are you visiting her on the weekend without your partner? Unfortunately, the body of Dr. Thomas was found on Thursday, March 7, outside of Vegas near Lake Mead. The body was found in the trunk of a blue Mercedes belonging to a Kelsey Turner. In the car, they also found a baseball bat, towels, and an ID card belonging to a Miss Diane Penna. The doctor had been bludgeoned to death by a small cylinder object. Dr. Thomas also had defensive wounds on his arms and hands, as well as apparent bleeding around the brain. His ear had been partially severed, and parts of his face and mouth were caved in. Apparently, later on, when grand jurors were shown pictures of his injuries, they were shocked and gasped and said, "Jesus Christ," and "Oh my God." Police quickly made their way over to Kelsey, but no one was at home. Dr. Thomas Buchard was an esteemed doctor in psychiatry and had his practice in Monterey, California. He treated both adults and children. He was known for being very funny, kind, and doing magic tricks for his child patients. According to Judy, he liked to help sad women, in particular single mothers on the verge of homelessness, drug addicts, and prostitutes. She said that he wanted to help them turn their lives around. Mind you, this is his girlfriend saying this. Obviously, she's going to have a different view on things. And whatever he says, she probably wants to believe, right? His friends and authorities had a slightly different take on this. Dr. Thomas had previously been married. The divorce filing reveals he had given thousands of dollars to women he met online, some with suggestive screen names. He would also meet them in person, something his then-wife found inappropriate, and this led to a divorce. He denied that these relationships were romantic or sexual. This could very well be true. Absolutely. It's just that why are you helping only women of a certain age? According to the police and media, his relationships were intimate. One of his friends would later say these women were like an escape for him to have somewhere to go.
KSBW.
These women were just like an escape for him to have somewhere to go.
Quite hurtful, if you ask me. You are escaping from what? And why would you escape to that, right? You have a long-term partner at home. His friends would also disclose how he met this mysterious Kelsey. So who is this Kelsey, the damsel in distress? Let's have a look at this fair maiden, shall we? Kelsey at the time was a 25-year-old fake blonde and mother of 2. Remember that, a mother of 2. Originally from Arkansas, she moved to California to pursue a modeling career. This is her Instagram. She poses in bikinis and lingeries and wigs. Just your typical run-of-the-mill Instagram thought looking for attention and plenty of sad men drooling over her. She was featured in Playboy Italia and Maxim, and in an interview with Playboy Italia she said, "She's an impulsive Russian-American blonde just trying to change the world." Oh, look at that. She's here to change the world, right? She has a tattoo of a gun in a garter belt on one thigh. This is what I call pure class and sophistication, don't you think? Did I mention that she had 2 kids, but only custody of 1? Well done. Excellent. Well done. So this was the poor woman he flew out to see and telling his partner after. Dr. Thomas met Kelsey on a website in 2017 when he was 69 years old and she was 25. They started seeing each other in person and went out to dinner a couple of times. A friend of his said he was spending money on Kelsey and even paid for her rent in a nice house in Salinas, California. The people living in the house were Kelsey, her 3-year-old kid, and Kelsey's mother. He also signed a loan for a blue Mercedes and made the payments, the very same car they found his body in. Judy first became aware of Kelsey sometime in 2018. She obviously didn't like that her man was paying for another woman. Judy called Kelsey a trash, and in 2018 the doctor told Judy that he was going to cut Kelsey off financially. This led to Kelsey threatening Judy, saying, "She's on the shit list with me, and if she gets me evicted, I'll kill her." Regardless, Dr. Thomas stopped paying the bills and Kelsey got evicted and moved from Cali to Vegas. The doctor and model kept in touch. And one day in 2019, Kelsey contacted him saying she was in trouble. She was broke, sick, and said that her new boyfriend, John Logan, was hurting her. Okay, so she was basically asking for help, aka shmoney. John Logan looks like a lovely chap. Anyway, Dr. Thomas decided to check out the situation for himself in Vegas before he would agree to pay anything more. "Sir, again, you're 71 years old and you're going to do what exactly? Your young female friend's boyfriend is whooping her. How did you think this would end? What were you going to do? Challenge him to a duel at high noon? Put your dukes up, put your dukes up. What are you, Captain Save-A-Ho?" After the doctor's body was found in the trunk of Kelsey's car, she quickly became a person of interest. Detectives went to Kelsey's home, but no one was there. The landlord told them Dr. Thomas had been paying Kelsey's $3,200 a month rent from December 2018, and the lease was paid all the way through June 2019. So he had been paying her rent again after the eviction and move. It also turns out Kelsey had 3 roommates: John Logan, the boyfriend, Diane Penna, the owner of the ID card found in the car, and Jeremy, whose girlfriend Chelsea would often stay there. Once inside the house, police found blood, footprints, cleaning supplies, things belonging to John Logan, and towels that matched the ones found with the body. Now police started searching for John, Diane, and Kelsey, and a warrant was put out. They quickly realized that the trio was on the run. Diane saw the headlines and found out that there was a warrant out for their arrest, and she turned herself in. But Kelsey and John were on the run, and this is where the story gets wild. Diane told the police what happened the weekend Dr. Thomas came to visit. Everyone around Kelsey were all very well aware about the monetary relationship between Kelsey and Dr. Thomas. Apparently, allegedly, he'd spent over $300,000 on Kelsey. Even Judy gave authorities this figure. $300K.
How much money altogether did she scam out of Dr. Buchard, her and her mother?
About $300,000 that I know about, and possibly more.
On Friday, March 1, Diane went to work as a bartender at Caesar's Palace. When she got home in the early morning, Saturday, March 2, everything seemed normal. Later that day, on Saturday, Chelsea showed up at the home drunk. Remember Chelsea, Jeremy's girlfriend? Chelsea was another pretty blonde. For some reason, Dr. Thomas decided to take Chelsea out for a short drive to the shops in Kelsey's car, the blue Mercedes. Diane said Kelsey got all aggro. She was screaming and accused Jeremy that they were like trying to take Thomas from her. Jeremy went outside to look for Chelsea and the doctor, but they had already left. When he then tried to go back in the house, John Logan, Kelsey's boyfriend, blocked him from going back inside, shoving him, and then he punched Jeremy in the face. He then threatened Jeremy. He said, "You better find out where they're at, or you're going to find out what's going to happen to you." Once Dr. Thomas and Chelsea returned, Jeremy got some of his belongings. He and Chelsea left, and he decided to move out that night. That was the first conflict, but the doctor was still alive. On Saturday evening, Diane went to work, and around 2 a.m., Dr. Thomas and Kelsey came to pick her up. On the way back in the car, he got lost, and Kelsey took his phone to use the GPS. She also decided to look at his text messages and found messages between Dr. Thomas and another woman. The pics and messages were of a sexual nature. The thing is, the other woman was Kelsey's mother. Yeah, you heard right. It was Kelsey's mom. Let's look at the mom. There she is. They both belong to the streets. Streets, come and get them. Anyway, according to Diane, Kelsey flew into a rage. She was screaming at him and she hit him, and they kind of like got physical with each other. After getting home, Kelsey was still very upset, and her 4-year-old child was taken to stay with a friend of hers. Kelsey told Dr. Thomas that she needed time to cool off. He went up to her son's room where he'd been staying to wait until she calmed down. "Sir, why are you staying in the child's room? Get yourself a hotel, please." Diane said she went up there a couple of times, but she would lose her temper right away and came back downstairs. She threatened to report him to his employers if he didn't pay up. As a response, Dr. Thomas slammed the door in her face. Well, John decided to intervene. He kicked the bedroom door until it broke in two. Diane believed he then hit Dr. Thomas with a baseball bat. When he slammed the door, John came running and broke down the door. He had a bat, and I just saw the bat go in the air. I didn't see it hit him. John then leaped on the 71-year-old and wrestled him to the ground. After a moment, he got off him, and Diane could see a large red and purple bruise above the doctor's right temple. Dr. Thomas said he needed to go to the hospital, and to protect Kelsey and John, he'd tell the doctors he had been robbed, so that they didn't have to worry that he would tell on them. Then all four headed for Kelsey's car in the garage. Diane and the doctor got in the back seat, but he then asked John and Kelsey to get his jacket because he was feeling cold. After they left, he quietly told Diane he thought Kelsey was going to kill him. Diane didn't believe him. Kelsey and John came back out to the car and told them that they all of a sudden wanted to clean the house before leaving. They told Diane to go inside and start cleaning. She went upstairs and began clearing up the mess. She got rid of Dr. Thomas's bed linens and cleaned whatever blood she saw in the room. Dr. Thomas was still in the garage, and an argument broke out. According to Diane, I was upstairs, but I could hear Kelsey yelling, telling John that he was a bitch and he needed to knock Dr. Thomas out. Kelsey said she'd seen people knock people out and that it shouldn't be a problem. I came downstairs and told Kelsey to stop. She came out of the garage and said it was too late. I asked her what she meant, and then John came out, and he had blood all over him. John was also holding a blood-covered gun. Blood covered his hands and arms and had splattered on his face. Upon seeing John covered in blood, Diane began crying. She said Kelsey and John told her to keep cleaning, and she did. I didn't know what else to do, she said. And that kind of makes sense. I would be scared shitless, but I would go to police immediately after. I would just play along and just, yes, see you tomorrow. 911. For the next 3 days, they tried to hide their tracks. They got rid of the car. Diane said John drove off with it and she never saw it again. And she also claimed she didn't know that the doctor's body was in the trunk. Diane said John and Kelsey talked about getting rid of the phone, but she didn't know what they ended up doing with it. It turned out they were actually texting Judy. She was receiving text messages from his phone after he went missing that, according to Judy, didn't sound like him. I think they were trying to fish for my bank account information. Diane, Kelsey and John got a room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel on Monday night and at the Rio Hotel another night. Mind you, the body still hadn't been found. On Monday, Kelsey called a cleaning service, telling the cleaner there had been a party. The cleaner later said to the police she didn't buy it. Kelsey spoke to Jeremy, who went to collect his things on Wednesday, March 6. He noticed a strong smell of bleach, the broken door, and the house was tidy, something he said was unusual because the house was normally pretty dirty. Kelsey tried to trick him and told him to replace the broken door, telling him he could use Dr. Thomas's credit card information. I'm not using anybody's information to go purchase anything, and I told Kelsey that as well, Jeremy would later tell the police. When the body was found on Thursday, the trio turned their phones off. Kelsey left her son at a friend's house. She and John bounced between hotel rooms and friends. Soon they headed to California. Kelsey, 26, was arrested March 21 in California. John Logan, 27, was arrested April 17 in Las Vegas. When Kelsey was arrested, she was visibly pregnant with John Logan's baby. She already had custody of only one child, and now this bimbo is pregnant with her third kid with a guy that's on the run for murder. Diane pled guilty of accessory to murder. Kelsey and John said they were innocent. In court, Kelsey denied their relationship ever being sexual. Her lawyer, Brian Smith, said, "Don't believe all the hype." She said it was more of a case of the doctor having a huge crush on her, let's put it that way. In his court appearance, John pled not guilty and flashed a handwritten note to Kelsey that read, "Love you, lil' mama." Oh my God, ladies, that's so romantic. Goals. His attorney, Joseph Aboud, called Diane a snitch. This is a snitch who's unreliable. This is why you can't trust snitches. They operate in their own best interest, not necessarily in adherence to the truth. How are you using adherence and snitch in the same sentence? Also, is this real life? John gave a prison interview in 2020 and denied that he had anything to do with the murder. Diane had something to do with it. Well, it took him 3 years, but he finally pled guilty around mid-May of this year, 2022.
Just want to say that to everybody that was involved, that I'm sorry for everything all the pain I caused and everything that they've had to go through the entire time.
Kelsey keeps claiming innocence. We find out when trial starts any day now, and I will be following this case closely. But I have a little bonus for you. Have you heard about something called Love During Lockup? Well, Love During Lockup is a reality show akin to Love After Lockup, featuring the lives of inmates and people on the outside and their romantic relationships. Tinder for criminals and sad people. So felons sat in jail or prison and people on the outside that get in touch with them and send the inmates money and raunchy letters. Apparently, Kelsey wanted to be on the show and was even featured, but her face wasn't shown. Her gentleman suitor was this guy called Maximus. He's a wannabe model and male escort. I don't know who would pay for that, but if you lose your faculties, you can spend time with this lovely young man for a mere $650 for 2 hours. Oh, look, almost $20,000 to spend the week with him. And ladies, you're buying dinner. Like I said, Kelsey's face wasn't shown. She wanted more money. She said that if she didn't get the right compensation, she wanted her face blurred. Well, don't be too disappointed. Kelsey has a prison dating profile where you, yes, you can get in touch with this classy, sophisticated, jailed mother of 3. Jackpot. Kelsey Turner started a clothing company behind bars in 2021 and named it Bad Barbie LLC. She has a new Instagram page where fans can now follow her. And oh yes, she has fans.
Kelsey Turner, you guys, she's an amazing person. I just want you guys to know, if you guys want to know who that is, this is her. Free Kelsey Turner, we love you, we love you, we love you, and please, let her out. This is wrong, and you guys know it. Keep your head up, Kelsey. We love you. Come on, people, show the love for my buddy, Kelsey Turner. I love you guys, please.
Dr. Thomas Buchard loved his job. He also really liked children, but he didn't have any of his own. However, he was a wonderful stepfather to Judy's children. He was a good man that made some bad choices and paid with his life. He didn't deserve what happened to him, not even close. I hope Kelsey and John get what they deserve. These are bad, bad people, and hopefully they rot behind bars for the rest of their natural lives. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.